Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick tour of some of the features that are currently in EAT Frameworks. Now, if you watched my last video, you'll know that EAT Frameworks is a project generator for Corona SDK, and currently it has two project types. But before we start, let me just tell you that EAT Frameworks' purpose is to generate code to help you get started. You can generate simple projects. You can generate projects where you just extract one file and use it. For example, let's say you're having trouble getting your AdMob or your RevMob or one of your various plugin dependent bits of code working. You've looked at the documentation, you've typed up your own build settings file, and you just can't figure it out. It's not working, you've done something wrong. You've got two options. Option number one, you can go ahead and come on over here and then let me generate an entire monetizer for you and move your code over there and let me do the heavy lifting and do the ad display. Or you've invested a lot of time in your project already, and really all you want is somebody to show you how to do the proper build settings and config Lua files that go with this to make sure it works. What you can do then is simply click on Empty Project, give it a name, click on the Plugins pane, and let's say that you are using AdMob and AppLovin in your app, and you're using, let's say, the Stripe plugin from Jason's Twitter plugin, and iCloud. So having selected these plugins, you can now generate. It'll ask you if you want to see the folder. Let's go ahead and say stop asking. And instead, just go ahead and look on your desktop. There'll be a new folder called EAT Projects. And EAT Projects will be a folder with the name of the project you just created. So if we look in there, we're going to see a fully laid out project. And because all we really care about this time is the build settings file, let's go ahead and drag that over onto our editor. And what you get is a fully laid out, properly configured build settings file that's got all the correct plugins, all the right settings for iOS. And if you're using Android and you need this, it will also have all the proper uses, permissions, etc. required by the Android settings to make sure this works on iOS, Android, Apple TV, every place where the plugins will work, they will be configured to work for this tool. Okay? So, what if you want to do something a little more elaborate? Now, I should mention that I'm making this tool because I've seen a lot of questions in the forums. I've seen the same questions over and over and seen variations of the same questions over and over. And while I don't mind answering these questions, I realized that there had to be a better solution than me sharing the same code over and over and the same examples and answering variations. And so I dedicated some time to creating a tool which I had always wanted to create, which is this generator. And so I've made this for you guys, but I've also made it for me. And when I say I made it for me is that I took and I examined some games that I wanted to not duplicate, but I wanted to see what their successful DNA was. And I wanted to take advantage of that and then make my own games. And so first among these is the action, and it doesn't say that, but the ad monetizers, the current variant is primarily for action games, and I'll explain in a moment. But there is a big push, there has been really since Flappy Bird and before, for people publishing action games and then monetizing those with ads. And so I thought, why not do that first? This is a very popular format. It's something I can use and I want to use. We'll get that working, and then we'll move on to the other one. So let's go ahead and click on mobile. Actually, you know what? Let me take you on this tour here. We already did this in the previous video, so why don't I show you how projects works. I've already created this project. I did it in the last video. So if I click on projects, on the load pane, I have two projects, Show Me, which is the one we just created, and Moneymaker that we created in the last video. Now I could just click this, and it will take me to the editor, and then I can start editing. But before I do that, let me do some house cleaning. If you click on projects and go to manage, you've got another set of options. From the top, you've got backup and restore, which are not currently working, but they will begin soon. And their purpose is to allow you to, let's say you've used the tool for a long time, and you need to rebuild your computer, and you don't want to lose all your content. You're not sure where the content is stored. In fact, what you don't want to do is go find the files and copy them and then hope that they work on the future installation. Instead, you'll simply click on Backup. It will produce a single file that will be placed on your desktop, and you'll be shown where it is, and then you can copy that file, put it someplace safe, rebuild your computer, then later reinstall the tool, and then restore your projects using that file and this button here. Now the other choices here on this page are Import Project, which I'll talk about in a moment, and then the individual project listings. So under the project listings, you have the choice to export, clone, and delete. Export, if you click this, it will generate, let's just show you here, it'll generate basically like a micro backup, but just for this project. And if you click on Show Me after that, it'll take you to a folder on your desktop. Also in, let's see, it's not showing because I'm hiding some of the icons on my desktop, but it's called Eat, Export, Import. And basically what will be in here is a file. Let's just do it again so it's very clear. A single file for every export you do with a unique name. Now you can take this and you can send this to a friend. The purpose of this is so that, let's say you're working with a friend on a project, and you say, hey Bob, I need you to set up a monetizer with these settings. And Bob comes back and says, yeah, I don't have the ad codes. You've got them. Why don't you set it up and send it to me, and then I can generate it and we can get working on this. So you set yours up, you edit it, then you export it, and you send Bob this file, or Jane, whomever, and then it's not working yet. I know you're going to hear me say this a couple times, but this is an early adopter release, so a couple of things have not been quite worked out, but they'll be in very shortly. Bob will click Import, take this file, and then it will be loaded into his or her, if Jane, library. So the only other thing you can do on this page is you can clone a project, which is basically makes a copy of the current project you're in, and then you can give it a new name. This is useful if you need to make a project with, let's say, slight variations. You've created a template where you've got your codes and everything in just the way you want it, but for your particular project that you're working on now, maybe you don't want the launch screen ads, or maybe you don't want the interstitial ads. So you clone the project, give it a new name, take out the parts you don't want, make the changes you want, export that, keep your original and your new copy. Lastly, you can delete a project. So, for example, Show Me, which we just created, I can simply click Delete. It'll query me, ask me if I really want to delete it. Yes, I do. Done. Okay, so let's go ahead and edit Moneymaker. So back to load, click on Moneymaker. It's going to go ahead and take us to the project interfaces. Now, I think I said this already, but the monetizers will all come with a subset or a variety of interfaces, traditional ones. So for a traditional action game or mobile game, you're going to have a splash, you're going to have a home screen, which is your main menu, you're going to have the play screen, which is where all the action is going on, and then a game over screen. So let's real quickly take a look at this. First of all, in general settings, you have a selection of 2 interface library types, and there will be 3 in the future. I just didn't code up the last one because I'm not happy with the some of the features that are currently in there. But your choices are OOP, which is a object-oriented programming library. Basically, it's a library that I put together a long time ago in the Corona Geek Show of push buttons and toggle buttons and whatever, all written in object-oriented Lua using log30. This is a really great place to start if you're interested in seeing how to do object-oriented programming in Lua with Corona. However, if you want to stick to the standard interfaces, you can use the widget library, which is then you can click here on Interface Library, and I'm sorry, no, I take it back. When you go to my docs page, you will be able to find a link that will take you over to widgets, or you can go over to the Corona docs site and learn more about widgets. The point of this is if you're comfortable using the widgets library, which is the standard button, slider, etc. library for interfaces, then you can go ahead and choose that. You can also choose a theme. Currently there's 3 basic themes: Hollow, Dark, Light, and iOS 7. Let's go ahead and choose iOS 7. Let's see some other features in here. I limited the sound interaction here. I originally had a soundtrack in. I took that out. And the reason is I left the code in, you can add your own soundtracks, but I realized that adding soundtracks to generated code made things a little bit too confusing to explain to folks, and people like to handle their music their own way. However, I did put some code in for button clicks and so on, just to get you started on how that works. So you have 3 different choices for your button clicks, very exciting. More exciting is the purpose of this tool is to act as a framework for your own code. So normally when you generate, you would probably generate one that does not include a sample game, and then you drop your own sample game in. However, if you are just starting, you may be wondering, how do I put my code in? How do I get my code to work with this framework? So one of the easiest ways to do that is simply to choose one of the sample games that I've included. Now blank is basically, it's not a game at all. All it is a module that has all the hooks that get called by the framework, by the appropriate interfaces, and they're all empty. And they've got some comments, and you can just generate that and say, this is where I put my code. This is where I put the part that creates the game, destroys the game. This is the part that starts the game, so on and so forth. Or you could choose Tap Tap, which is a very rudimentary game where you tap one button to win, tap another button to die or lose, but it shows you the basic flow of a game. Or you can do a little more elaborate game, Balloon Pop. Now, I'm considering, and if you're listening to this video still at 11 minutes, and you are at the forums, go ahead and type a response or give me some feedback. I am considering taking my old templates and putting my most popular ones in here as examples. So if you guys think that's a good idea, let me know. If you don't care, if you'd rather have me work on something else, let me know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and choose the Balloon Pop sample, and then I'm going to leave these other features alone, but I wanted you to know that when you're editing, if you ever have a question about anything, everything is pretty much clickable, except for these title bars. So if you wanted to know what Scene Template Standard means, you just click on Scene Template here. A little pop-up will come up. It tells you a little bit about what I am doing here, what standard and modified mean. And let's see if I can find one. As time goes by, more and more of these will have additional external documentation. Videos, for example, when I click on Recycle and Scene Change, it gives me a description, but it also has a link to take me to the Corona docs. Now, some of these are very advanced features, none on this page, but I will include in those links, in that information, a discussion and video links and web page links to tutorials and so on and so forth. As this project progresses, as the early adopter becomes more mature, these features will be available. So, continuing our tour, let's click on Splash. Splash screen. So, it's going to last for 5 seconds. Do we allow the user to tap the screen and skip? No. If you're doing a monetizer, it's probably a good idea not to. However, personally, in testing, when I am testing my code, I like this to be true, so I can click through the splash screen, not wait 5 seconds every time I want to run my project. Let's say that we want to monetize this game with a launch ad. Currently, your 2 choices are AppLovin and Bungle. I'm adding more providers as we speak, so this very short list will turn into a very long list. But let's choose AppLovin, and let me go ahead and find my codes. Just a second. I'm going to pause this video while I find my ID code, and I can start putting these in and show you guys how this works. Okay, I'm back. Now, in the future, when you select one of these ad campaigns and you click on Ads ID, or I think they're both going to say the same. Yes, so Android ID. It'll tell you a little bit about what it is. And like I said, in the next few releases, I'll be adding additional links here, so video links and whatnot, that'll show you how to go get your ID, how to get an account, how to get the information you need to paste here. Again, the purpose of this tool is to make your life easy, not to make it difficult. And so I thought, why not just let folks click a button, grab an ID, paste it in there, and that's it. Boom, you're done. You could generate now, and this would produce an app with a launch ad that would come up from AppLovin. Let's do the home screen. So currently supported is a rating button, and let me just go ahead and find my little sample. I'm going to hook this up to a current app that I already have published. So this won't be for this app. This is just to demonstrate the concept. So now there'll be a rating button on the home screen, the main menu. I want to give them the option to share, and let's say I want the message to be, "This game rocks." So this is going to be fixed, but the point of this is now that you have generated the code and you've run it a bit, you'll be able to look at the code and say, that's how it's written. I can modify that message. I can make it a little more interesting. I can make the code dynamic. I can make it generate a message. I can do additional things. But you no longer have to worry about getting it to work for the first time. Let's go ahead and I'm going to use my website as the link URL. Okay, in the future, I'm also going to be adding achievements, leaderboards, and an in-app purchase button that will allow you to create a button that users would then click to disable ads. Again, the idea here is we monetize via ads, but some people don't want to watch ads. So it's nice to give them the option to give you 99 cents or $2 or whatever you should choose to turn off the ads. So that's what these features are for. Now I'm going to go ahead and move forward to the ads section and come back to this. And then actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and make this full screen. One warning is OS X users. There's a bug. I think it's in Corona. Don't blame me if I'm wrong. I'm going to double verify this, check it. And if I'm wrong, I'll fix it on my side. If I'm not, I'll file a bug. But Windows users can currently resize the app. OS X users cannot. And the reason they cannot is I found a bug in alignment in adaptive mode, which is what I'm using to render this. So advanced topic, but just a warning. So some of this stuff's not going to fit well on the screen as you edit. And I apologize for that to the OS X users. I'm going to fix it as soon as I can and get a new version out to you. So let's go ahead and click true, true, true. You can see this dynamically extends to provide space to edit. Let's say we want a banner ad from AdMob. We're going to put that on the bottom. Then I'm going to get my IDs over here off on the side screen. Paste those in. And sorry. Paste that in. Okay, so now we've got a launch ad and we're going to have banner ads. And this gets quicker as you go along because let's say you want banner ads on your Play GUI and you want to also have them be from AdMob, which currently is your only choice, but RevMob is almost ready. And I have lined up a number of other providers that I'm working on. So AdMob, since I already typed in the ID codes for my banners on the previous screen, this screen knows about them, so you don't have to paste them at this point. And let's say that I want to put the banner ad at the top this time. So banner will be on the bottom for the home screen, at the top for the Play GUI. Skip over the transitions for now. Let's go to the game over screen. So in an action game, the user plays and then they die, and typically then they're taken to a game over screen where they're given a message about their best score, last score, and then occasionally given the chance to watch an ad, or that is, every so often an ad will be displayed between the time they show the play screen and show the game over screen. So let's go ahead and enable our rating, share. Let's do the achievements. In-app purchases, yes. Leave the rest of that alone. And let's say we want a Vungle ad. Let me go ahead and find my codes and just paste those in there. Then I'll explain this other bit. Okay, so the frequency. What that controls is how often does the ad play. So you die, go to the game over. If it's 1, every time you die and go to game over, it plays. If it's 2, every other time you get an ad. 3, so on and so forth. A good number is about 5. But you know what? You adjust this to be whatever you want. I start off on 1 to make sure that it's working. And okay, that's it. We've created a framework that is ready to drop a game in. And because in general selections, general settings, we chose Balloon Pop, we can generate this and it will actually have a game. So let's go ahead and generate it. Let me resize this a little bit. And I think I mentioned this already, but when you generate, it will generate to a folder called Eat Projects on your desktop. So I'm going to delete the content that's in there. I got an interesting question in the forums too. Somebody said on GDT, they said, hey, I deleted the folder or I deleted the project in the editor. I can't remember which way it went. And the other one didn't go away. These two are not linked to each other. The content on your hard drive is the generated content. The tool doesn't care about that. So if you delete it, if you move it, the tool doesn't know, it doesn't affect the tool. Vice versa, if you generate, there it is, it's produced. And then if you were to go into projects, manage, and delete, it would not delete this. What it's deleting is its memory of the settings. So there's a database associated with the app. That's what you're maintaining here. So these two are completely separated. Just for people who were confused about that, that's what's going on. Not related whatsoever, not connected. So you can move things around, you can edit, you can maintain with no fear of damaging the other side of the equation. So I'm going to say no. So let's go ahead and open this up. And I'm not going to give you a tour of the code, but there is a README file that will tell you a little bit about what got generated and what you can expect to see. Or you can go ahead and open the stuff in your editor and just take a look. But if you look at this, you would probably say to yourself, this looks like a complete project. And it is, in fact, a complete project. So let's go ahead and open it up. And I will drop this on my... And let's go ahead and make this a iPad. And there it is, running, Moneymaker. Comes up, had the splash screen. Now I'm running in the simulator, so the ads are not going to play. I'm going to pause the video in a moment and then go ahead and build this for my for my Apple device, and then I will show it to you on a screencast running there. So just let's take a quick tour of the app first. So we did the splash screen, got the title, got a volume control. Let's see what else. You can click play, and the game starts. Boom. If a balloon hits the bottom of the screen, the game's over. Let's go ahead and let it run through. So if we failed to get all the balloons, it takes us to the game over screen. Now, there was a quick transition. We didn't set up any of the transitions. We can go back and do that in a second. I will, in fact. But I just wanted to show you everything working here. So we got the achievements. It's hooked up, but it's not working. So it has some stub code. Same thing here for your leaderboard. Rating doesn't work in the simulator, but this will work on the device, and I'll show you that in a second. Sharing will also work on the device. And the no ads button, currently not hooked up, but the in-app purchase is coming shortly. So let's go ahead and make a small change to this, and then I will pause the video and show this running on a device. So let's go back to Projects, Moneymaker, and let's go ahead and change all of these transitions. So let's make it from the left, 500, and zoom in and out. I'm just randomly choosing things here now. Zoom out, fade, rotate, make it 1,000 milliseconds. And the game over is going to be, let's do a crossfade, and 1,200. All right. I don't have to click save. I don't do anything like that. I just type my changes. It's saved automatically. And let's go ahead and reload this project now and see that working. There's our crossfade, or I don't remember what that was, a zoom in and out. And play from the left. And let's go ahead and let that kill us again, and we should get a crossfade. Oh, that's a rotate. That's right. What did I do there? That's transition to home. So let's choose a crossfade, and let's leave that. And let's try that again. It's nothing like showing people how to do things in a video. You're going to make mistakes. All right, reload. Oh, you know what? I'm tired of not doing that. Let's go do that. Generate. This is it. This is exactly what I meant. When I run these things, I hate waiting for the splash screen. So now you can click, you reload, and if you click, it'll take you right out. Okay, that's what I wanted. So let's go ahead and let it kill us one more time, and we should see a crossfade. Oh, well, there, it looks like we got a bug, our first bug. So 004 will be coming out shortly after this video is released. Okay, I'm going to pause the video now, and I'm going to build and show this running on an actual device. And in the interim, when I'm paused, I'm going to turn off all the transitions because that's kind of distracting. All right, just a moment. Okay, I'm back. I just finished doing the build, and as you can see, I have connected my iPad to the computer here using a screencast AirPlay mechanism. And let me go ahead and close that out. And then I'm going to go over to the Mac. Let's drag the generated app, the compiled app, onto my iPad. There, we saw it appear, Moneymaker. It's worth noting that unlike GDT, which is the predecessor to this, my initial effort, this tool does not generate either icons or launch images. That is going to be in a separate tool, and when you register this tool, the same registration will work to unlock the other one. So there's going to be Eat Frameworks, which is this, and then another tool called Eat Utilities, which will have a icon generator, a launch image generator, assuming that I can get that to work. There may be a problem with resolutions, we'll see. And then I'm also going to incorporate my particle editor, a new variant of that, a much better, nicer one. And then I'm almost 100% certain Prism and CBE particle editors too, because it's been a long time needed, and those are both wonderful particle libraries that are free. And so why not have a decent, robust editor to go with those? And then additional things will go into utilities. But for now, oops, rotating my screen here. For now, let's get back to the demo. So I've generated no icon, and if I click on Moneymaker, it's going to go ahead and launch. Now, I should get an ad, but sometimes you don't. And the reason you don't is because you haven't given it enough time to download the video ad. This is the problem with Vungle and with any other of the video ad producers or providers, is the very first time the user runs your tool, or not your tool, your game, there may not be enough time if you use a timer for them to get the content. So if I were to quit this and then start it over again, second run, I should almost certainly get the launch ad. Let me just double check here to make sure I turned on launch ads. Yeah, so we should be seeing an AppLovin launch ad. So I'm pretty sure there'll be enough time this time. Yeah, so there it is. So what happened again is basically video ads take a while to download, and I've only given a 5-second duration here. If I'd made that longer, it probably would have had time. And that's also why you want to do this with this set to false. So they're stuck on that screen. The first time they run the app, they're bringing it up. They got to look at your launch screen, your splash screen, that is, and then they get the ad. Now, it's up to you. You guys do what you want to do, whatever works. Okay, we should get an ad here in a moment. Now, I have written some code. It looks like I still need to adjust this a little bit. The generated code is supposed to move these icons enough so that if you have a banner ad, that the banner ad is not obstructing or obscuring these buttons. But it looks like I have the balance off just a little bit. So that'll also be part of a future update to this tool. That's, for me, and hopefully for you guys too, is the beauty of this tool, is that as you and I find problems, you guys report them in the forums, and I will find them as I'm using the tool, and I'll make these micro adjustments so that the tool gets better and better, bugs that are found get fixed, etc., etc. And so we all get to lift the boat together, and everybody gets the benefit of one place to go to get a working piece of code. All right, so we get a banner ad, which is what we selected in the first place. And let's go ahead and rate my old app. So if we click here, it takes us to the app that I linked to, not this game, just one of my random games out of my listing. And so just to show you that the rating thing works, it takes you to the store where the user would now have the ability to do a review or go on and look at more of your games. So let's go ahead and go back to the game. Sharing, if they click that, they get the option to choose from whatever the user has installed. So for example, I've got Twitter and Facebook installed, so I can share with either of those. Let's not do that for now. Let's go ahead and play. The banner ad at the top, you'll see that the home button there has been adjusted. The score isn't. Now, the games that are generated with this tool are not, they're ignorant of the framework's banner settings. That part is going to be up to you guys. But if you look at the framework code, you'll see what I've done to adjust, and you should be able to do the same thing in your own games. All right, so enough clicking, popping. Let's go ahead and let us take us out of here. Now we're at the game over screen. And we got our bungle ad. Now, this is exceptional. This is, I mean, most people, I've seen these questions so many times. It makes me very happy. So, it's not to blather on, but the point is that you guys want to do this. You want to have ads. You want to have banner ads, launch ads. You try to do it, and you get stuck, and it's frustrating. And I just don't think you should be frustrated. So spend a few bucks, get this tool, and then give me feedback. Help me keep it running, and we'll make it better and better. And you guys are going to benefit, and I'm going to benefit. So, all right, it's up to you guys. Okay, so that's it. That's the tool. And I hope that you like what you saw. And if you do, feel free to add some questions and feedback in the forums. And if you're watching on YouTube, there should be a link below the video that will take you to the forums. Please don't post anything in the YouTube itself. I'm much more likely to get back to you if you post in the forums. All right, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.